thunderstorms popping off down to the south of us. This has been kind of interesting to take a look at over the last few hours because of the fact, and let me just make certain that we're getting audio off of this, because the last time we did this, and apologies if you tuned in last night and could not hear anything, somehow these got disconnected somehow on the settings. I have no idea how, and I'm still trying to figure out. Okay, we've got audio, so that's good news. We are recording. Let me just make certain that I'm recording on Twitch before I go too much farther. The best possibility, again, for anything involving thunderstorms into the next several days is going to be coming up. Okay, got audio there. That's good. Sorry to, again, do all the technical stuff while everybody's tuning in to watch for the first time around. But last night, I don't know what happened. We were recording, and the audio was showing up in the everything in the audio input capture on OBS, and everything said that we were getting audio. But then when I played it back, we got no audio except for a very small snippet at the end. So we did not get really all that much last night, and basically what we had was a bunch of weather pantomime last night. But this evening, it looks like we are getting audio out there once again. Just making certain everything's working there, so sorry about the noise effect there. All right, it is just before 10 o'clock Eastern on Friday night. I'm Chief Meteorologist Austen Onek. This is Weather Overtime. If you've never been here before, again, this is our video weather blog that we bring to you from downtown Chattanooga, Tennessee, on Broad Street at the News 12 studios. This is where we've been watching a line of storms making its way through over the course of the last several hours, and we're getting regenerating thunderstorms back to the northwest of Chattanooga, but the worst of the worst has been all of this activity here. And the very strange thing from earlier tonight was, as this line moved on through, several areas well back behind that line, and we're talking 20 to 30 miles. Some lightning strikes were being recorded. We had a lightning strike just around downtown, just south of downtown Chattanooga, right back across the area into around northern portions of Walker County, right around Fort Oglethorpe, a little farther than that, and the storms were already down past Dalton and Resaca. That was where the storms were. The lightning was way up here. So lightning was striking some 20 to 30 miles away from these storms. That's something else to take a look at. Now, again, right before 10 o'clock, we have developing thunderstorms back to the west of Chattanooga, moving to the south and east. No indication of anything involving problematic amounts of weather here for right now. We'll take a look at the severe threat coming up in just a little bit. Chickamauga back to Walker County. This is the northwest corner of Georgia. We're seeing some thunderstorms between State Highway, I believe that's 111, and Interstate 59, which crosses the Alabama-Georgia line. Got, again, what's left of those thunderstorms kind of redeveloping on the tail edge of those last storms that moved their way on through. Now approaching Atlanta, basically over Atlanta right now. Carrollton, Dallas, Taylorsville, Georgia, getting some pretty decent amounts of lightning out of this, and we'll probably continue to see more potential of that rain coming up through the rest of the evening. I would not be surprised to see some more thunderstorms happening overnight, to be honest, just about any place across the News 12 viewing area. Northeast Alabama, you're pretty quiet for now. Those thunderstorms around DeKalb and Jackson counties in Alabama, those now making their way into Dade and Walker counties in Georgia, and watching those storms over around Tullahoma and Columbia, Tennessee. Could be getting some problems out of that with rain on the roadways. Those, in the course of about the next 15 to 30 minutes, those are going to be drifting across Sewanee and just to the west of I-24 south of Manchester. So maybe some more problems with driving there. We've had some slowdowns earlier today, so more potential problems with that coming up again throughout the rest of the evening. But for right now, things are doing pretty good. We'll get to the 7-day forecast coming up here in just a little bit, so stay tuned for that. For those of you who are just tuning in, again, I'm Chief Meteorologist Austen Onek. This is Weather Overtime. Bringing you more information from the News 12 viewing area in the Tennessee River Valley, around southeast Tennessee, northeast Alabama, northwest Georgia, and far western North Carolina. If you've got questions about the forecast or weather in general, drop them into the stream chat function in the area of Twitch, and or drop them to the chat function in YouTube. We'd love to know more about what exactly it is that you're seeing out there. If you have any questions, we'll try to answer them as quickly as we possibly can. But as we are live tonight, and I'm the only person doing audio, camera, graphics, the whole kit and caboodle for right now. It may take a little while for me to get back to you, but if we see something, we'll try to talk about it for a little bit and let you know more about what's going on. Hopefully we got a good sunset tonight, looking back toward Raccoon Mountain, Lookout Mountain over here on this side of the screen, and we do have, again, some low-hanging clouds looking off toward from the southwest on the Bailey's heating and air camera. Good possibility as we go through these cameras, we may see some lightning off in the distance. That right there, that's not a cloud. That's Sylvester the spider hanging out and helping to rid the world of one more mosquito. So thank you very much, Sylvester, for doing your job there. Let's take a look around the area and see what we got. Should have gotten a decent amount. Okay, some lightning off in the distance on the Plainview Outdoor Advertising camera, looking at those storms developing back toward Sewanee and around Tullahoma in Tennessee. Traffic on 153 southbound moving along pretty well. Chattanooga Airport with the lights here. No problems with any visibility at this time, so good news again on that. From the News 12 studios, from the Patriot Concrete camera, looking back again, there's some of those low-hanging clouds reflecting some of the lights over toward Lookout Valley. Ruby Falls, the north flank of Lookout Mountain, and Broad Street right around where the News 12 studio is, right across the street from that brand new 7-Eleven. Have to go over and see if they've got the Slurpee machine fixed one of these days, and hopefully the coffee's good too. Heavy Friday traffic at 2475. Lights are off thanks to construction going on just to the west of this particular picture, and the Chattanooga Airport right over the horizon there. Still not seeing too much in the way of lightning strikes here or the sky lit up. A northwesterly view on the Chattanooga Zoo webcam, Erlanger Hospital around 4th Street, and looking across the railroad tracks here, the Chattanooga Zoo down at the lower portion of your screen. Still a pretty good view off to the west-northwest, but we did manage to pick a couple of good shots with some pretty heavy rainfall just east of here along 4th Street across Holtzclaw Avenue. So we did manage to get a pretty decent view of some of the rain that passed through some of the area. Now, temperatures at the Chattanooga Airport back in the high 70s. Winds out of the south helping to bring that moisture in. And I think we're going to continue to see some pretty sultry conditions. The heat at this time, if I haven't mentioned this, don't want to bury the lead, but we do see the potential. There's some more lightning taking place off to the west. We will see the potential of some much nicer temperatures heading our way as we get into next week. The cause of all this is our latest storm system coming on through, and it's going to take most of the rest of the weekend for that to make its way on through the area. It's sitting right back to our north and west. High pressure down to the southeast of us, pushing that warm, moisture-rich air up our direction. And then the front itself from roughly Detroit down to about almost Tulsa. This is going to be making its way through, and this is going to be irritating the atmosphere, working with the fuel, these areas of moisture coming in from off the Gulf of Mexico. As this moves south, this continues to flow on shore. They meet together here giving us the potential of more chances of showers and thunderstorms. So let's go ahead and time things out for you. Again, Chattanooga right in the middle of your screen. As we go into tomorrow morning, there will be the chance of some showers and thunderstorms. I don't think there will be quite that many of them. And about maximum temperatures tomorrow, it depends on how many clouds we have around. It's very low on the temperature here because we have that marker for rainfall right over Chattanooga. So brief temperature dip, but notice the temperatures all the way around the area, especially to the south and southwest, back into the mid to high 90s to triple digits. So that is what we could see. And then as we go into Saturday afternoon and evening, we start to see a lot more in the way of showers and thunderstorms heading on through, and that could continue right up until about dawn patrol on Sunday morning. Lows in the high 60s to the lower to mid 70s. Now behind this front is where we start to see some relief coming our way. For Sunday, as the front passes, we may see again the potential for some showers and thunderstorms left over. Most of those should be over into far northeastern Tennessee, and that is where we should be seeing the end of the rainfall. And then the rain chances best as that front pushes on down to the south. And by the time we hit school time Monday morning, no chance at all for anything involving rain. So the kids back to school on Monday or going to school for the first time will not see a problem with any rain. Could be some rain and fog in the Appalachians, but minor chances only there. The rest of Monday looks good. Temperatures really nice to be able to see this front and that area of low pressure dragging in this very nicely dry and slightly less hot mass of air. That's going to have a big impact on our temperatures back in the mid 80s as we get into around the area of Monday afternoon. Early Tuesday morning, it's a good possibility we could see maybe some high 50s in here for lows. Haven't seen those for quite some time. And then high temperatures early in the afternoon on Tuesday, mid to lower 80s. And I think the computer models down around Atlanta, Montgomery, and Macon are kind of pushing things a little bit too hot, because if this front is going to have this effect on our temperatures here, I really don't see a 10-degree temperature difference between this area and even some 70s back up around Knoxville. So we'll see how that all plays out, and we'll get you more information as we go through the weekend, so keep it tuned for more with News 12. Either way, through the weekend, you definitely want to keep your umbrella handy just to be on the safe side. From Island Cove Marina and Resort, a lot of clouds still out there reflecting the city lights. And again, keep your eyes open out toward that section of the screen. You may see some lightning flashes from time to time. What we're going to look at for tomorrow is the potential for more showers and thunderstorms. Again, this could be a marginal threat. We'll talk about severe weather in just a second, so stay tuned for that. An isolated chance of a shower or thunderstorm on Sunday, and then through the rest of next week, drier air from Canada gets rid of the rain chances. We drop into the mid, maybe some lower 80s as we go toward Monday. That is going to be absolutely blissfully blessed weather. Not seeing any over-the-top hot conditions anytime soon. Really great to be able to hear about that. And then we go upwards again into the mid to upper 80s, possibly pushing 90 degrees by next weekend. But again, 90 for this time of the year is right smack normal. So we're not seeing any blisteringly hot, huge amounts of heat coming on through. We are still in August, and that can happen, so keep it tuned. Again, we'll bring you updates on that in the next several days. All right, let's talk about severe weather potential as we get into the next day or two. We may be looking again at the possibility of seeing the heavier amounts of weather. There is no threat of severe weather for tonight. What did I do with that? There we go. The threat for severe weather for Friday evening and for Saturday morning, if you're watching this after midnight on August the 17th, we do have a threat of thunderstorms, just generic thunderstorms on the key far up here on the upper right-hand corner of your screen. So no severe weather threat for tonight, so that's very good news. For Saturday, and this forecast will be updated Saturday morning at about 2 o'clock in the morning. So as of right now, by the time we record this, as of about 10 o'clock Eastern time Friday night, yes, there is the potential of some severe weather. There's a higher threat, a slight risk, and again, that's about a 2 out of 5 north of us around Lexington, Bowling Green. That is where we could see the worst problems there. For us, it's a lesser threat, but still a threat, so that is something we need to pay attention to. Outdoor activities tomorrow, I think you should be able to get them done, but I would be very weather aware. Keep your weather radio with you with fresh batteries. Keep it tuned to News 12, and we'll keep you updated on what we might be looking for coming up here into the future for Saturday. Now, what about Sunday? Well, the threat goes all the way down to the south and to the east of us, so well south of Atlanta, Birmingham, Montgomery. That'll be the best potential of severe weather, and that'll be again during portions of the afternoon and evening. I'm really not seeing much of any other chance of anything really happening here. Again, for Sunday, could be some leftover thunderstorms. Yes, that could be a potential problem, but for right now, nothing huge and no severe weather either. Now, it's interesting to note that the storm system that we are looking at here for this weekend, the one that you see way over here, all these clouds behind the logo over the Great Lakes, that storm system is heading out into the Atlantic in the next day or two. That is going to have, it's got a lot of mass in motion, so this particular storm is going to help nudge this hurricane back toward the east. Ernesto is still a Category 2 storm, but just barely. Winds have dropped to 100 miles per hour. That little dot that you see right there, that is Bermuda. So the outer bands of the storm are starting to make their way toward Bermuda. Lots of winds moving to the northeast at about 13 miles per hour. Now, the last we saw, this storm is going to continue its way right toward Bermuda. Again, being a Category 2, about the time it works its way over the area, it's going to slow down, it's going to lose some strength, but Category 1, 90 mile per hour winds, that's still a good punch of weather. And then the storm system clears the area by Sunday night, heading well north of Bermuda as a Category 1 hurricane. It looks like it will remain a Category 1 hurricane, possibly until around Tuesday morning. And then as it passes the Canadian Maritimes, this is where it gets really interesting. If this storm, if Ernesto has enough, if it has enough cohesion to it, if it has enough strength, if it's able to stay wrapped up pretty well and draw enough moisture from the ocean surface, even though it's heading into cold waters, it could still be a hurricane by the time it passes Newfoundland, Nova Scotia, places like that. And then it goes out into the Atlantic, traveling basically north-northeast. If this holds together again, 60 mile per hour winds, tropical storm south of Greenland, and then just south of the Iceland area as we go into Thursday morning. That is where we could see this storm just west of the British Isles. Travel that direction could be a little bumpy as you go toward Friday. This time next week, we could see a pretty good windstorm. If it holds together again, it's got a long ways to go and a lot of cold water to go over. So as of right now, Ernesto, by this time next week, still technically could be active. We'll see how well that holds together out there. Now, we did have a few hours ago, I don't know if they're finished just yet. I closed the website, unfortunately. It looks like they are done and they are heading back home again to their base back to the east of Puerto Rico. So we did have a Hurricane Hunter plane in the storm, keeping an eye on things. And as of right now, as far as I know, and let me just double check the update from the National Hurricane Center just to see what is going on. Strong winds, dangerous storm surge, life-threatening flooding beginning over Bermuda. We do not see any reports from any of the hurricane hunters. So for right now, it does not look like too much of anything is going to be changing by the time we get to the 11 o'clock update. So good news on that. Please remember, again, even though Ernesto is not a problem for the east coast of the United States, the temperatures over the Bahamas, the Caribbean, the Gulf, and much of the western Atlantic. This is where we are seeing the problems because we have a very large amount of heat. And this is where we could be seeing a lot of problems coming up in the near future because these storms, if they take advantage of this heat, they are going to be this could really intensify the storms very quickly. So this is something that we need to watch. So if you're heading anywhere to a beach in this side of the planet, in this area north of the equator, Mexican, Central American coastline, the Gulf, the Keys, down to Jamaica, Bahamas, east coast of the United States, anywhere around Florida, the waters here very, very warm, unnaturally warm. Again, climate change due to fossil fuel overuse by humans causing a lot of that, with temperatures pushing and over 90 degrees in some parts of the Gulf in the last couple of weeks. Rocket fuel for these storms, and that can cause a tropical storm to go to a Category 5 hurricane very, very quickly. So that is something we are really, really, really going to have to watch in the semi-near future. All right, nobody's showing up in the questions just yet on the chat functions of either room, so not seeing any questions that need to be answered at this point. Do want to let you know excuse me, about a couple of things. Number one, the Barnard Astronomy Group here in Barnard Astronomical Society, is going to be hosting an event on International Observe the Moon Night that's coming up September 14th, just about 28 days from now, 7 to 11 p.m. at Greenway Farm, 5051 Gann Store Road, Hickson, Tennessee. If you'd like to know more about International Observe the Moon Night and why it is so cool, go ahead and stop by the website again, barnardastronomy.org, if you'd like to know more about that and the other meetings they have coming up where you can look through the binoculars and the telescopes and get some very good views. Please stop by and learn a little bit more. Don't forget also, this is coming up in a couple of months, well, a little bit less than that, just about a month and a half now. National Weather Service in Morristown will be holding an open house coming up on the 28th of September, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. This, again, will be a great opportunity to watch what NOAA does. National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration does a lot of things. Under their banner, you find the National Weather Service, the National Hurricane Center, NOAA Fisheries, NOAA Marine Debris, anything involving transport and shipping, NOAA studies to keep our economy and our manufacturing sectors working properly. So it really is neat to be able to see just a little bit about what NOAA does. Find out more from National Weather Service about the open house in Morristown, Tennessee. The National Weather Service in Morristown is one of 4 National Weather Service offices that cover this area of the News 12 viewing area on here. In fact, let me just point this out to you here. We are covered by Nashville for this area, Huntsville, Alabama for this area, Peachtree City, Georgia for areas of North Georgia, and then National Weather Service Morristown covers southeast Tennessee and western North Carolina from up around, again, Morristown. So we are covered by 4 National Weather Service group areas, and that is what we use. Their information helps to give you a lot more safety to give an idea as to what's going on with the weather. So when you have the opportunity, and these open houses do not happen all that much, if you have the opportunity to visit, please do so. This is at 5974 Commerce Road in Morristown, Tennessee, 37814. Again, if you'd like to know more, their website, weather.gov/MRX, or you can go to our weather page, wdef.com/weather, where you can scroll down beneath the forecast and get more information about this, including the links here and the details if you'd like to know a little bit more about what's going on. If you think you've got pictures that would be worthwhile in a calendar, these are some of the pictures that our viewers have sent in the last several weeks and months. The World Meteorological Organization, based in Geneva, the climate and weather arm of the United Nations. They hold a calendar competition every year, and the best of the best of the best get to have their calendars in their pictures in the calendar. So if you think you've got, and this is not just for the News 12 viewing area, whoever's watching here, if you think you've got a great enough picture, if you're a great enough photographer, go ahead and send it in. It has to be a certain size. It has to be a certain format. There's no cash prizes, so there's no money involved, but to get your picture in front of the entire planet, that's pretty cool, you got to admit. If you'd like to find out more, you've got about 2 weeks, not much more than that. Again, September the 1st. You can find out more at their website, wmo.int, if you'd like to find out, again, a little bit more about what's going to be taking place there. All right, going for some exometeorology again tonight. If you'd like to find out more about our polls, go to wdef.com/vote now. Tonight's question, there are, and they are observable. There's proof of this. We're not making this up. But if you'd like to take a look and see what this is all about, places like NASA Astronomy Picture of the Day, NASA Science, places like that, you can see more. European Space Agency is one. Earth's moon and the planet Mercury are in the solar wind, just like all the other planetary bodies in the solar system. And that solar wind always is pushing away a small part of Earth's atmosphere and is always pushing away dust from the moon's surface, very minute amounts, but with no atmosphere, it's easy to do stuff like that. But the moon and planet Mercury, among other bodies in the solar system, have a tail, and it's observable through certain filters on certain telescopes. What element is seen trailing away behind those planetary bodies into space? Hydrogen, helium, sodium, or methane? A tie of 39% of you saying hydrogen or helium. It actually is a tail of sodium stretched out behind Mercury and planet Earth's lone moon. So kind of cool to be able to think about that. It's neat to be able to see it. A little bit more on science there for you. And again, a new poll goes up at midnight if you'd like to check out more about what we have to offer there. And thanks to Friend and Roofing for being our weather poll of the day sponsor on that. All right, our weather picture of the day, back down to earth. Nice view of the garden with a few zinnias in there. Thank you very much, News 12 viewer Francis Parnell from Pikeville. Beautiful view there, and apparently some cows off in the distance in one of the other pictures that we sent in. If you have the opportunity to stop by and see, we post these pictures to our social media pages each and every weeknight. If you'd like to see them, drop by our social media channels. If you'd like to send them in, pictures at WDEF.com, or go to our website where you can both drop your pictures off at WDEF.com/photos, and as an added bonus, you can see other people's pictures that get dropped off there as well. Again, WDEF.com/photos is the place to go to on that. Okay, I think we're approaching the end. We've been on for just about half an hour. It looks like our audio has kept up, thankfully. No idea what happened last night. Again, big apologies to everybody who could see us but not hear us. I'm still trying to figure out exactly what went on there. So, again, sorry about that. Let's go ahead and go back for just a second here. Let me rearrange my graphics so I know where we are. There we go for that. Okay, one more check of the radar. We still are getting some areas of storms on either side of the Alabama-Georgia line. Tryon and Lafayette, Georgia, some storms right over the highway there, just north of Summerville and around Cedar Bluff, just south of DeKalb County. This is the southernmost county in northeast Alabama that News 12 covers, Jackson County being the other one. Another cell around Cedar Bluff. This one has popped up pretty nicely in the last about 15 to 30 minutes. Right there is where we see the lightning, right north of Center and just east of the Powell area. So we are seeing, again, a little bit more in the way of some more thunderstorms developing. Back to the west of the News 12 viewing area in around Franklin County, if I'm not mistaken, back over towards south of Columbia, Tennessee. A couple of storms, Winchester and Sewanee, right to the west of I-24. A little bit more activity there. and some showers up around Beersheba Springs, Grootley Lager, and just west-northwest of Dunlap, but just showers showing up here, so not a lot of activity going on. And so far, it looks like hopefully it'll stay that way. But again, as we showed you, there is the potential of some severe weather again tomorrow. So time to be weather aware. Let's make certain we're paying attention to the forecast. Again, the phrase "without the storm struck without warning," that is pretty much an old, trite, and basically retired phrase because of the fact that with all of our technology these days, it's very difficult to get caught without warning on storms anymore. So time to pay attention, time to be weather aware. So keep it tuned to News 12 for more on that. All right, that should do it for tonight. We've been on for just about a half an hour. We'll have more on the forecast. Again, bottom of your screen near the News 12 logo, wdef.com/weather. That's our forecast area where you can also get more on the 7-day forecast, lower left-hand corner of your screen, in case you want to check that out. We'll also be back again. We'll be monitoring. If we need to, we'll break in with severe weather information coming up on Saturday, and we'll have more details. I believe Amelia Greer is here with the news this weekend, and Brian Armstrong will be in with sports. I'll have more, again, another weather overtime coming up as we head into Monday afternoon. But again, for today and tonight, that should pretty much do it. So again, please, hoping that you have a happy and safe weekend coming up. Let's be careful out there. Again, with heavy rainfall from some of these storms, let's not drive too fast because you wind up with hydroplaning, and that gets you to wind up with a lot of long, boring conversations with your insurance agent. So slow it down. Let's pay attention and let's be careful. Live and direct from downtown Chattanooga, Tennessee, I'm Chief Meteorologist Austen Onek from the News 12 studios on Broad Street. Thank you very much for joining us for tonight, or if you're watching later on Saturday, thanks for tuning in. We'll have more again through the weekend on News 12 on air and online, and I'll see you again coming up on Monday. Thanks for joining us for Friday's edition of Weather Overtime.